From humble beginning.
To grow and evolving.
And the arrival. This is First GenXers.
That would be nice. Can y'all hear me? Check 1 2. I know she could, but can you hear me out there in Twitch land? How you doing today? My name is Dark Lord 100, aka Double KK Double. Over there is the one and only fabulous OMalley. We are here to bring you First Gen X's presents The Classroom, a weekly sports talk show where we just kind of bounce them around some ideas. If you got some ideas of your own, drop them in the comment section and we'll holler back when the time's right. We are going to kick off this day.
Oh, great. Now I'm going to have Gwen Stefani stuck in my head because there ain't no holler back, girl.
You know what's funny is the first, like, I want to say 6 months that song existed, I utterly hated it because
Same.
everywhere I went, B-A-N-A,
Yes.
I was shut up.
Same. Can't spell banana without spelling it like that now, too, right?
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and then I went like, I want to say I went like a year and a half, 2 years without hearing the song at all.
Then I was like, hey, this is catchy.
Yeah, exactly. Heard it again, was like, hey, all right, cool. As long as I only hear it every once in a while.
Yeah, as long as I'm not hearing it 15 times back to back on rotation, like.
Market oversaturation is a real thing, people. It truly is.
Well, and then you go to the like ADHD inclination to listen to the songs that you like literally over and an anxiety thing. It actually helps anxiety too. It's the known, the comfort. So if you already do that and then you're hearing, although the things I like to listen to over and over aren't the things that they're usually playing over and over, right? So I don't end up having to deal with that. But missed my favorite part. Got to start from the beginning.
I have definitely, like, I've trapped myself in a bubble when it comes to music. Like, I really only listen to like late 90s or early to late 90s and early 2000s, and then a little bit of the late 80s. But I am stuck in my bubble, and I am happy in my bubble. And I very rarely ever introduce new music to my bubble because it's my bubble.
Yeah, I don't, except for Kendrick. I think Kendrick gets a pass because, well, he reminds me of that 90s, 2000s. So like it's that West Coast, like original West Coast kind of stuff.
That Snoop, Dre, and NWA type.
When you get the blessing from them, like, you know,
he's
might as well have gotten the blessing from the Pope.
All right, so I'll let us roll that into our first segment of the evening, which is the NBA Finals again. No, this time we're looking at the Dallas Mavericks. Luka finished with 29. Kyrie finished with 18. It was a good battle for them. I think that Boston in general was just the better team, but now moving forward, like, do you think the Mavs? Do you think Mark Cuban? Well, I don't think Mark Cuban. He's Mr. Risk Taker. But do you think Mark Cuban is just going to go? You know what? it's time to blow this whole thing up. Like, get rid of Kyrie, keep Luca, build around him, and let's move on? Or is this going to be a let's run it back next year? Because I think we could have done this.
Um, they're gonna run it back for the most part. They may switch out a few things, but what they're not gonna do is they're not gonna switch out Luca and Kyrie. I think that they found that Kyrie brings a really good balance to Luca. Luca is less emotional, less crying. I mean, he still
does all of that, yeah.
but he doesn't do it because Kyrie just doesn't tolerate that. That's just, I mean, look who he's played with before, right? Like he's the crybaby whisperer,
right? For lack of a better phrase,
right? And it's no disrespect to Luca. I think part of that has to do with like that's EuroLeague style of basketball. That's not here style of basketball. But I think that they really found that Kyrie brought a good balance to Luca. And maybe we didn't see the numbers from Kyrie that were normally, but when they needed him to score, he scored. And he has a lot of intangibles that don't show up on the stat sheet, right? The way that he can run the ball, the way, like, I mean, just run the court and allow Luca just to do the things that Luca does without having to worry about doing things that he doesn't really do, right? So I think that they actually make a really good pair. I think it's just strengthening around them now.
I'll say it like this. I think that the X factor in that not draft, but in that particular series between Denver or Dallas and Boston. Let me get it out. Anyway, but between Dallas and Boston is this. I think Kristaps Porzingis was the game changer on that. And what I mean by that is Dallas had nobody that could answer anything that he could do as far as the inside and the 7-footer. They had Lively. He's still young. He's still developing. Forget who their actual starting center is.
Yeah, but Porzingis didn't even play the whole series.
Yeah, I want to say he missed games. He missed the one game that Dallas won, and he missed the game before that. No, the game after that. But the first 3 games, I want to say he played.
I think he was out after the second game.
Was he?
I think he was out 3 and 4.
Okay.
And he came back 5.
He came back 5. Okay. But I know that when he was in there, like, he frustrated the hell out of Dallas. And so I think if they can get themselves an inside presence sometime this offseason, whether it be through the draft, which just happened, or through free agency, I think that they can be in a position to run it back and potentially get back to that finals. Because they're going to need a big to compete with Denver and LA and all that.
And I think that Luca could use some social emotional learning skills, some emotional intelligence courses. And I'm not saying that to be a dick, because I'm not saying he's stupid, folks. Like, if you don't know what emotional intelligence is, like, go look it up, okay? Right. I'm not saying he's stupid. Don't freaking at me. Don't hate mail. I'm not saying he's stupid, but he has a difficulty managing his emotions on the court.
In critical situations.
And I'm not even saying that in a crybaby way. I mean, he allows them to frustrate him. He allows things to fester and to just bother him to where it just trips him up a little too much. And I think, again, that's why Kyrie was such, and I mean, that dude is so chill. He is serious. Like, one of his interviews this series, I think I heard him talk the most I've ever heard him talk. He doesn't talk a lot, probably because when he's kind of opened his mouth and put his foot in it a few times. But with all of that aside, I actually gained a new respect for him over this series, listening to him talk, listening to kind of how he felt that his role was a little bit to take a step back in certain places and help facilitate. It's running the game, not just shooting the ball, not just any of that. It's really being a good facilitator. And those are things that don't necessarily show up on the stats, not even like under assists or stuff. I mean, he has enough of that, but just listening to him talk and seeing a different side of him really with Dallas. And I mean, I think going back to Boston was personal for him. I wish that it had turned out better. Um, the outcome of that game, to me, I looked at as a wash. It was a win-win either way. A Celtics win was a Lakers loss, right? I'm gonna jump Sacramento Kings bandwagon, and not even that. It's just because it's a LeBron loss.
Right.
And because blame LeBron,
Yeah.
y'all. That is completely his fault.
Yeah.
And Boston will win more before you win another one.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've heard that here. Until he is gone, Boston will win more before the Lakers win another one.
And we're gonna get to the Lakers and what they doing over there in the next
God,
segment.
that I mean, the first round was a good choice, but anyways, but
we'll get to that.
But and if Dallas won, that's still a win because Kyrie won without LeBron.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, a hometown kid,
Boy,
no pun intended. Hardaway Jr., who,
Yeah.
because of his father, has, to me, ties to the Bay.
Yep.
Like,
Didn't he
these
play for
are-
Cal?
Did he?
I'd have to look that up. I'll look that up.
It's not like we don't have Google or anything.
You know.
But and so it was hard because the whole time I'm like, I feel like
Oh no, he went to UTEP. Sorry.
Okay. University of Texas El Paso.
Yes.
It's actually a decent basketball school.
Very true. They've been pretty much consistently in the tournament almost year in and year out.
Yeah.
Since I can
You would-
remember starting to watch it.
They're almost not even in the United States, but they're a good basketball team.
They're a good team.
I've spent some time in El Paso, so
Well, all right. So we'll kind of let that one go there. Hopefully the Mavs won't be too good, and hopefully the Warriors can get better to catch up with them. And the first step towards doing that is the NBA draft. All right. So
not for us, it wasn't.
So the NBA draft. The first round saw the Hawks take, and please forgive me for this, Zakaria Rissacher from France. The Wizards take power forward Alex Sarr from France. Rockets take shooting guard Reed Shepherd from Kentucky. The Spurs take point guard Stephon Castle from national champion UConn. And the Pistons take Ron Holland II, small forward from G League Unite. And in the second round, the Warriors took Boston College center Quentin Post. The Lakers took LeBron James' son, Bronny James. And the last pick of the draft by the Dallas Mavericks was center Ariel Hookporty from Germany. I doubt that guy's going to see much play time next season. But anyway, he was basically basketball's Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick in the draft. So let's get to... Okay, so the Warriors took a big
Call
man.
me a hater. Call me a hater. All of you out there who think it's so great that father and son, first time in history, are going to get to play with each other. And call me a hater. I don't care. It's not actually hating. If I felt like he deserved to be drafted, I would feel differently. But for the fact that he is LeBron James's son, he would have been an undrafted free agent. He may have been going back to college.
And that's the exact point.
And I've said, and I think I said in here before, that I felt like he should go one more year of college, especially because his first year wasn't all that great because of everything that happened. Give a little bit more for people to go off of, because now, in a lot of ways, it doesn't matter what you're going to have to be better than your father at this point for people to not look at you
And that's as a
your
second round pick.
entire career and say you're a nepo baby.
Yep.
Right?
Here's the thing about it. I think that he did certain things in NBA Combine that allowed teams to want to draft him. Here's where I think the whole thing went sideways for him. When the reports came out, when Bob Myers sat on NBA whatchamacallit and said Rich Paul was calling all the other teams around the Lakers pick and all the other teams in NBA and saying, do not draft Bronny James. If you draft him, he will go to Australia, which, by the way, I'm petty GM of the year, and I would have drafted his ass anyway just to force him to go to Australia for a few years. But that's just, yeah.
I would have pulled a John Gruden. You're going to sit on the bench for the rest of eternity.
Exactly. So, but at the end of the day, I think that
I'm going to trade you to a different Europe team.
I think if his name was Bronny Jackson, I think his agents would have been suggesting he go back to the NBA or go back to college basketball for another year or two and see if he can't up his draft stock. But because he was LeBron James' son, it was like, no, you can leave. You need to leave now. And it was just like, I feel sorry for him.
I think that's because I think LeBron is recognizing he's maybe got a year or two tops.
Right.
Like I'm curious. I think he may have thought this is the time. But here's the other thing. Okay, he may have done some things in the combine, but that is a very finite period of time. And a lot of these things they practice over and over and over, and not a whole. There's some of them, just like exams, that I don't think have a lick to do with what kind of basketball player you're going to be. Right. And him even being at the combine still has a lot to do with whose son he is.
Right.
Okay?
And, well, he was.
We're not talking about Steph Curry here, right? Because my partner and I were talking about this because he's a Lakers fan. Yeah. He hates them right now because he hates what's going on because of LeBron.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it because people are like, well, Klay Thompson, freaking Steph Curry. First of all, Steph Curry first became better than his father.
Yeah.
Like,
Much better.
But also did not get the hand up and he should have gone higher. He had a lot of questions. He was very small, and he had a lot to prove. Yeah. But he earned that. Yeah. And that's the issue that I have. Like, I don't care if you pick him up as an undrafted free agent. Do that.
Yeah.
If you want him that bad, but I don't feel like he earned a draft pick. So call me a hater all you want, but I've said for a long time, he should have gone a second year of college just because he didn't get a full first year.
Here's what I don't get.
Name for himself. And good God, man, stop going by Bronny. Like, how old are you now?
I'll put it to you like this. If he had put up a halfway decent season, he struggled at USC. That's the problem that I have with it, is he struggled. And I think
struggled on a team that didn't even make it to March Madness this year.
And I'm like, it's not that I'm saying, the kid can't grow into the thing. And I see the double side of this. I think LeBron's team and their camp is on this side that says he's going to have growing pains coming into the league regardless. Why not have him start that process as early as possible? And then there's the other side where, as a father, how do you look at your son struggle against college competition and say, yeah, I think you should enter the draft combine? Like, where's LeBron saying, look, you're probably maybe late first round, maybe mid second round pick right now. You play another year at USC and really show them what you can do. You can be mid first to a lottery pick. And I want that excitement for you. So go back to USC, play another year, find that groove, show them what Bronny James is all about, And then the NBA will always be there. And this is the hypocritic stuff about him saying, "Oh, I don't want to play with my son." Then why does it seem like you're forcing him into the NBA when really he's not ready? I can't sit here and evaluate and say Bronny James has no potential, but I can sit here and say from what I saw, the few games I watched him play for USC, the kid this is not where he should. This is not the year that he should be entering the NBA.
Well, and that's the thing. And again, to clarify, so I don't like people hating,
Yeah.
right? My hatred of LeBron James is a basketball player.
Right.
I've always said, as a man, as a human, as a citizen, as a everything other than a player on the basketball court, he is
Amazing.
top notch. He is like, he is who to aspire to be. He's done amazing things. I can give him that credit. I am not hating on him overall. It is him as a basketball player and what he brings into that. And there's a level of narcissism that is in that. And I feel like in this case, he's doing his son a huge disservice because for a lot of the reasons that you just said, like I am kind of surprised. Like, what you wanting to play with your son, because I'm sure that he's like, okay, either way, right? Because here's the other difference. This kid didn't grow up hungry.
Right.
This kid didn't grow up in a single parent family home. Right. This kid didn't grow up all of the things that a lot of the best basketball players went through, right? And I'm not saying that you can't have led a somewhat cushy life. I mean, Steph they weren't rich because, I mean, they didn't make all that money back then, but they were not poor off,
I was
right?
going to say, Steph Curry did not grow up in a wanting food. I
would say middle to upper middle class,
right.
At least back then. But Bronny James grew up very different.
Very different.
And you play basketball differently when your life isn't depending on it.
Amen. So, all right, we're going to pause it there. We're going to take our commercial block, and then we'll come back. We're going to talk a little Klay Thompson. And I'm going to drop a bomb on y'all right out of bait that's going to make you laugh. You're watching the that was earlier, the Cheap Pop Podcast. I'm just confused. It's like that morning I woke up and said, "Hey, thank you for calling Black Angus," when I answered the telephone. Anyway, that's a story for a different day. You're watching First Gen Xers Presents The Classroom right here on Twitch TV. I'm Dark Lord 100. That's OMalley. We'll be back in a bit. Peace.
You got to
let me run to the restroom real quick and I'll be right back.
You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep it.
This is now versus then. 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 This is now versus then.
You getting on my nerves. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. Gang, gang, bitch. You getting on my nerves. Get your titty, get your titty, get your titty on. Gang, gang, bitch. Get your titty, get your titty, get your titty on. I said what I said. No, please don't tell on me. No, please don't tell the police. Gang, gang, you getting on my nerves. She getting on my nerves.
We are back. What's up, y'all? And yeah, so the fact that I'm going to tell you that's going to blow your mind is this. It's going to lead us into our next topic of conversation. And that is, did you know that Dell Curry and Mychal Thompson have just entered the GOAT conversation? You know, because there's a lot of people out there saying that supposedly since Bronny got drafted into the NBA, that somehow elevates LeBron James. How one has anything to do with the other is beyond me. But if you want to talk about NBA players having sons that played in the NBA, Dell Curry's son is the greatest three-point shooter to ever exist up to this point, and a four-time champion. Mychal Thompson's son is right behind him, and a four-time champion. So I would say that if having great sons somehow elevated you into the GOAT conversation, they should be included too. Because their sons did some truly amazing things. Matter of fact, to be honest with you, I can't think of an NBA player's son that had more impact than Steph Curry or Klay Thompson.
Without as much energy put into them as has been put into Bronny James.
Exactly. So, but I say all of that to bring us to Klay Thompson, I guess, has decided to test the free agent waters. I've heard reports from multiple places, NBC Sports, etc., that have said that Klay is interested in coming back, and of course the Warriors would like him back. I think the number is the big deal, but according to another message I just got today from NBC Bay Area, Klay will be talking to the 76ers and a couple of other teams and testing his worth in the free agent market. I would hate. Oh yeah, and Dallas has emerged as a potential landing place too. Even though, as I was talking with OMalley about off air or off camera, like I just don't see how he fits in Dallas unless it's as a six man. In which case, if you're going to be a six man there, you might as well be a six man for the Warriors. Might as well stay right where you're at. But at the end of the day, free agency started about 3 hours ago. I think we're gonna have to wait a while before Klay's gonna drop a bomb on us as to where he's going. If he signs tomorrow somewhere, I'll be surprised. So, but your thoughts on Klay Thompson and him potentially no longer being a part of this Warriors team at the end of this free agency period? Don't like the idea of it, huh?
I it hurts my heart. Um, it is my first thought, right? Like the thought of Clay not being a Warrior.
Yeah.
That it feels like eighth grade graduation, and now we're not all going to the same high school together, right?
Right.
Or high school graduation, and we're not going off to college together, or something. It just doesn't, right? Or yeah, we're not playing basketball together anymore because we're going. It just
Yeah.
it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
But you know, when we're talking about if it's one or the other, like who's going to be a Warrior for life, I think everybody knows that Steph is that's the goal and the plan for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think he's pretty much, I mean, Draymond's pretty close up there.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, we want all three. We really want all three to retire as Warriors. Like that's the goal.
Absolutely. I absolutely want that. And I wish that Clay had had a better season.
Big time.
Because I mean we were talking about this, I think, a bit off air, right? About you know, he did that 6-man role for a while, and he did good at it. He was humble about it. He took it like a champ.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Like, but it was for the best of the team.
Right.
But I also adore him, and I think that he deserves to be paid.
Yeah.
He deserves
To make money.
to be able to still shine, or at least get the opportunity to try, right? He's had a couple of pretty significant injuries, and he had those with the Warriors. In a lot of ways, I feel like, hey guys, like, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And no matter what they do here, they are also looking out for him. They are really trying to do that. I believe that when I hear that some places, I'm like, yeah, whatever. That's not. But this front office, this coaching staff, this ownership, I truly believe. I mean, because today one of the things it is said is that to help him, they may do a sign to trade, right? So I don't know. A lot can happen here now that the draft is over. That at least people know kind of what's going on. I mean, we had there was almost like a Kobe-like trade going on during the draft this year too. You had one of the players basically got drafted to trade. So
and got moved. Billingsworth, was it, or I forget what the kid's name is.
Yeah. So I hate thinking about the Warriors without Clay. I hate it. I don't want to. It will make me sad. There are some players that have gone, right, that I'm like, whatever. Yeah. But this is going to hurt worse than, like, I didn't like when Iggy left the first time.
Yeah, when they traded him to Memphis.
That hurt, right? And then he came back, and at least when he went out, he retired, right? So it's like, that's good. I can feel good with that.
Right.
Because talk about sixth man, right?
Was a starter and was a beast, and was a sixth man and was a beast.
Yep. So, but this is, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
It won't be the same. It really won't. But I also understand that this is what happens.
He got to do what he's got to do, and it sucks that he's got to do it. But Clay, if you have to go somewhere else, we wish you well. Like, you're a West
And
Coast
don't
boy.
go to the Lakers.
Yeah, don't go to the Lakers. Yeah.
No.
No. All
Because
right.
that would be fighting. Nope.
All right. So, last subject of the day was supposed to be officially on Juneteenth. The Negro Leagues recognizes, or the MLB recognizes Negro League stats and the change that it had there. But something hit my news feed this past week that I just remembered that I'm going to pivot to. That's still basketball related. There's some video put out by, I don't know if it was Clutch Sports or just some random YouTuber, so on and so forth, that supposedly shows that Michael Jordan's stats were inflated by stat keepers throughout the league, specifically more so in Chicago than anywhere else, during the season he won Defensive Player of the Year. And that somehow means, of course, to the Bronnites, that now means that all of Jordan's stats have been inflated and are fake, and so on and so forth. I've taken issue with this, and I've luckily gotten to the point where I'm strong enough in my mental capacity that I no longer engage in Facebook arguments with idiots in these sports groups.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
It's nice here.
It's nice. But it's still frustrating.
It's still hard sometimes, though.
When you're reading the comments and you're reading the stupid that they're saying,
But
or
then
you're
you
reading
have
the
to
post.
stop and you're like, wait, if they're saying this, nothing I can say will do anything but irritate the shit out of me, because how can you be so fucking dumb?
I was talking to my assistant at my job about it, and I told him, I said, here's what I would need. And I'm going to be honest with America. Here's what I would need to consider this is to apply the scientific method. Okay, Jordan played close to 1,000 games. I believe his total number is somewhere between like 900 and 1,100 total for his career, or let's say 950. So I said, let's use a round number of 9. I would need someone to sit down, 2 different people, to sit down and watch 450 games and only track Jordan's stats. Only track what Jordan is doing for 450 games. Then we will take those numbers and we will compare them to the stat sheets that came out of those numbers. Now, I know we're expanding beyond the year that they were talking about, the Defensive Player of the Year, but they're claiming that this lends a shadow on his entire career. So I
actually think you might end up finding that they understated him.
Yeah.
If you're only concentrating on watching one person,
exactly,
to do stats for,
yep,
there is a chance that you end up seeing things
that the original person
they missed.
Yep. And so I'm like, I would need that, and then you compare them, you give it a plus minus of about 2 per category: points, rebounds, assists, etc. As long as it's within that range, then he was correctly statted. Now, if you're going to show me that in each category there's a plus minus of like 6, 5, 6 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, that there's really that much of a difference between what these people saw and what the NBA recorded, then you might have a point. But anything less than that, now mind you, the original study that showed this in the paper was written on, watch 6 games, 6 random games from that 87 season. 6 games from a man who played over 1,000 games in his career.
Right.
Or almost 1,000 games or over. It's the thought process behind it that kills me, that gets me, that I think a lot of the people that are posting about it are trolls, but I think there are genuinely people out there who think that somehow that little study puts all of his career in
right.
jeopardy or in
it's
question.
Also when they start cheering and celebrating, right? Because, LeBron passed another number of whoever, Jordan, right. Kobe, any one of those people.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. But how many games did he have to play to do it?
Yep.
Because that's what we should be looking at. Who did more in a shorter period of time? Sorry, LeBron, after X amount of years, what happens afterwards? No, because in that period of time, even if we looked at in the same age range, right? But that still wouldn't necessarily be fair.
Nope.
Because
it's the thing about this. Here's the thing about it. A lot of people don't understand that the reason why LeBron's playing at the level he's playing right now is legitly HGH. And I'm not saying he's not a great basketball player. I'm saying his body should have broken down already. HGH and some of the therapies that he's done have allowed his body not to break down in the way that it should have. I'm all for that. I hope all players that want to play a long time learn to be able to do the things that LeBron James did to extend their careers. I would love to see Steph Curry play 20 plus years because I believe a jump shot is something that never goes away. It never really degrades. I believe Dale Curry can still hit jump shots in the NBA even today, and that man's almost 70 years old.
You've seen him be in before a Warriors game, and he shot and freaking Steph going crazy, right? That just made him like.
And you look at LeBron, his style of play should not lend to him playing as long. It doesn't mean that he's uber amazing and better than everybody else. It just means that there's no way that he's doing what he's doing without, and I'm not saying he's on steroids. HGH is a form of steroids, but it's to an extent, I hate to use the word, but for lack of a better word, healthier version of steroids than anabolic steroids are. So it's definitely a different type of steroid, but it's what's helping him, which is the original reason why a lot of athletes started using steroids to try to help elongate their careers. Then the benefits of it were extra, but he's taking stuff and there's nothing wrong with that. But let's say it for what it is. Let's stop saying that. Oh my God, LeBron is this freak athlete. No, he's not a freak athlete as much as he just has more tools available to him than people did in the past. Maybe we could have gotten 20 years out of Jordan had Jordan had the tools available to him that LeBron James does to elongate his career. Jordan didn't have those. So at the end of the day, I look at it and the extents that people are going to try to tear Jordan down disturb me. Why does it bother you so much that an entire generation of people love this man and support this man? I don't understand why that bothers you. It doesn't bother me that these youngsters like LeBron. I don't like LeBron. He's not the best basketball player. Yeah, but I don't.
But I'm also not being a hater because I disagree with the Lakers picking up Bronny James in the draft.
Right. For basketball reasons.
That doesn't make me a hater. That is my opinion that basketball-wise, but for who his father was, there were other people who deserved to be drafted.
100%.
That's what bothers me. And yeah, I know that LeBron's got the money. He's played the game. He's done all of this. He can do whatever he wants. But I'm sorry. I grew up a poor kid in private school. I still like to root for the people who should get what they deserve because they earned it, not because mommy and daddy paid for it.
Yep. 100%.
Sorry, I will always have an issue with that. Yes, it's great to be able to give your kids the best of everything. Honestly, you're kind of setting your kid up for supreme failure right now, and that scares me for him. I honestly think out of his sons, the middle
Bryce
is a better basketball player.
Here's the thing. I think that, and like I said earlier, I think that Bronny's been pushed in this direction. I think that the kid, I see him eventually developing into into an Austin Rivers type person.
Has he ever looked happy playing basketball?
Not that I've seen.
That's another thing to me, right? And I mean, I know not all players go out there and look happy, but they at least look like they're into playing. And I'm not saying he's not good, that he doesn't have the ability. There is something missing when his heart isn't into it.
No pun intended.
And his brother plays different. That's what I see differently with his brother. But I feel like he is fulfilling his father's dream, not necessarily the other way around, and that's sad to me.
Very, very much so. Like,
So I'm not a hater. I'm actually concerned about his mental well-being, folks.
like this, like I said, it's kind of like the same way I felt sorry for the Ball boys. It's not that LeVar's a bad father. It's just that LeVar's antics are LeVar's antics are very much toxic to his son's, career. Like they were. Like once all three boys got to the NBA level, like it has been. Like this is why you don't hear much about the Ball boys anymore. One hasn't played basketball in almost 2 years, and then the other two are, I hate to say it, but in a world of obscurity. Like nobody really knows.
One of them's dating someone.
Someone I don't know. But when that's the level we got to go to make them relevant, then yeah. But I'll say. But final topic. I don't know how much hockey you follow, but I was highly excited as the San Jose Sharks were picking at number 1 today or yesterday or day before yesterday for the NHL draft. I think it was Thursday. But what I didn't know until later on in the day was that they were picking number 1, and then they traded up from picking number 14 to number 11. So it kind of hit me, and I posted on my Facebook. I was like, wow, this is an opportunity for a franchise to like completely flip its whole, whatchamacallit on its head. When you get 2 picks in the top 10, 11, that can be a franchise changer there. And this is a franchise that for the past couple of years, obviously they had a horrible season last year because they were the worst fucking team in hockey. That's how they ended up with the number 1 pick. But this is a team that just a few years back, less than 10 years ago, was in the Stanley Cup Finals. So like they're one of the Florida Panthers just won their first fucking franchise, and I believe the Panthers came out into existence the same year as the Sharks. But the Panthers just won their first championship. It's like, come on, San Jose, like do this for me. Like y'all are one of I only have 2 teams in my top team list that have never won a championship in my lifetime, and that's the Sharks and that's the Cal football team. Like, and I don't think I'm ever going to get it with the Cal football team. So come on, Sharks, help me out here. Maybe not even Cal basketball. I don't think that it's going to happen anytime within the next 30, 40 years. But I can hope. Well,
I mean, and I've at least got didn't USC get their championship back?
Yeah, they did. Well, I know Reggie Bush got his Heisman back too. But yeah, so yeah, they're just one of they're my hockey team because they're my local hockey team, and they just have not won. They've gotten close, but they did not win a championship. Have not won a championship, and I want to see them win one. So let's hope these 2 kids that they draft, no pressure, kids, like just get in there and play, do your thing. But we're hoping that you can come in and do what Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green did for the Warriors, like come in and turn it around. So we'll see. All right, so that'll wrap it up for us for this week. And it's been a pleasure bringing all this sports knowledge to you. Next week, who knows what we're talking about? Tune in and see. But I am Dark Lord 100, aka double KK double. That right there is the one and only fabulous OMalley. And next up will be MVT Deuce closing out the night with Agent K28, aka the Saint, dropping some indie hits on you. Who knows what he's playing with tonight. But we will see you guys next week, and I won't see you guys till tomorrow night for Madden Mondays. So that's it. Any last words for him, OMalley?
Fuck LeBron. Call me a hater. I don't care.
Peace out. Alright, that's it for us. It was hilarious. You had me worried there for a split second. I was like, do.